Hello, good afternoon, good evening. So the topic for today is why you should deal with your shadow. And so stick with me, and I'm going to explain to you what your shadow is and how you can deal with it and why you should. So, if this video has been shared with you or forwarded, my name is Dean and I'm coming to you from Kansas City, Missouri. The cat's name is Bandit and he's going to be making an appearance here pretty quickly in the frame. He's right here on the edge of the chair right now. But anyway, we've named 2020 our best year ever. We're making it our mission to help ordinary people like you and I grow and develop our confidence so that we can be successful, whether that's in a full-time job, a traditional career, in business and entrepreneurship, or in life. So I absolutely believe that when we work on our goals and dreams, that it helps our confidence. So earlier this afternoon or this evening, about an hour ago, I shared an article from Psychology Today on the effects of childhood bullying. And their tagline said, every parent, if you have children, or every parent should read this, or something like that. But after I read that and I digested the information in the article myself, I was like, it's not just parents who need to read that and understand those implications, but we all do. Has anything ever happened to you before and you were just out of the blue, you were just like, oh my gosh, that was just like, your dad or your mom. I think we've all, at some point, we all have those moments, right? But, or you go through a situation and you have a certain type of reaction to it. And once it's all done and you're kind of through the situation, you're like, why did I react that way? Why was that so important to me? And, so for me, that's kind of what this is about is, when I read articles like that kind of talk about, if this happened in your childhood, this may be what's happening as an adult. That's the kind of thing I find interesting, again, learning about myself so that I can make adjustments and changes and, again, live a better life, live the best version of myself possible. So what that article did for me is it just got my kind of gears running, and it reminded me of the shadow or dealing with your shadow. If you've never heard of your shadow, it's from the psychoanalyst or psychologist Carl Jung in the early 20th century. He was, I believe, a contemporary of Sigmund Freud. There's Freudian psychology and there's Jungian psychology. And in the Jungian side of psychology, he talks about the shadow. And so we all have the good part of us, or the light, and then we have the dark. So again, kind of the whole Star Wars thing. Go to the dark side, or the force or the dark side, and we all have that in us. And the thing is if we don't deal with the shadow, then the shadow controls us. But if you deal with the shadow, then we control the shadow, right? And so again, the shadow, those are our deepest fears. It's the things that we don't like about ourselves, which again is projected in the things that we don't like about other people a lot more often than that. But it's that kind of stuff. It's all those fears and all those things that we don't like. It's what we don't want to become, basically, all kind of wrapped up in, again, what's been kind of called the shadow. So I've read a couple of different books that kind of help recognize that and help deal with that. One of them, and I didn't turn my camera around tonight, but it's called Dancing in the Dragon's Den. And even though the book's about creativity, really, no matter what you're doing is probably creative, so you could probably get a lot out of this. But this is kind of where I really learned about that shadow and how to deal with that shadow so that you can move forward and not always let it be something that holds you back. So again, if you're ever fearful of making a mistake, because in your past, you made a mistake, and it was, for some of us when we were children, when we made mistakes, it was horrible, and so sometimes when you're brought up that way, you don't want to make a mistake because of, again, those feelings of for some people, very traumatic feelings of when you got in trouble as a child, when you made a mistake. That's the shadow. And so this book really gives you some exercises to help deal with that. And another book that I recently read is called The Tools, 5 tools to help you find courage, creativity, and willpower and inspire you to live life in forward motion. So this goes the next step. And this is a book a little bit more for everybody, not just creative people. But again, almost everything that you do can be considered creative, right? But anyway, this includes things like getting unstuck. So again, if you're afraid to do anything new or different or, learn anything new, this can help you with that. And controlling your anger, free yourself from out of control rage and, these never-ending grudges that some of us, including me, may have. Expressing yourself, for some of us, we were taught that, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And that is then manifested in things like not being able to speak up for ourselves, combating anxiety, and then finding discipline, activating willpower, and making the most of every minute. So anyway, read. So again, I posted that article, or I shared that article from Psychology Today on my Facebook page. So read that, but also check out these books if you haven't already. And, again, there's people, and you can go through life without dealing with your shadow. But I'm telling you, since I've been able to grab a hold of my shadow and, grab a hold of, my fears and disgusts and, things that I don't want to become, it's helped me move forward and live a better life, because I do know that. So there you go. If you like this and want more from me, or you want to know about my current project that I'm working on, I'd love to chat with you more offline. Give me a comment or DM me, and I'd love to tell you about my current project. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. It looks like at one point Charles and Eric and Evilise were all on. I appreciate that. And you guys make it a great week.